It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Aaron Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome to another Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Aaron Saunders. Aaron, how we doing?
I'm a little frustrated, Smitty, because we got ready to record this, and then none of my equipment would work. And, it was
you know what
crappy.
you should do? Since you're frustrated, you should put up a picture on like your Twitter or your Instagram of you just throwing up the deuces and just leave it. No caption.
Just
post it and leave it for anybody to
Yep,
interpret it however they want. Because then you could be following the path of, a disgruntled receiver, or in the case of what we're about to talk about, and what a segue by me, TJ Watt throwing up on his Instagram story, just a picture of him throwing up the deuces from a random game. I don't even know what game that was. I couldn't tell you, but TJ Watt posted this on his Instagram story. On this podcast, as much as we can, we don't like to read into stuff, but we would be remiss if we didn't at least bring this up and maybe have some fun speculating exactly what this could be in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take this seriously, but I do want to have some fun with it and talk about it. First of all, the funniest part to me is that TJ is personality-wise probably the least likely person on the team to be like, oh, I'm upset about something, let me go to Instagram about it. The idea of TJ Watt being mad about something and his instinct is I'm gonna put something mysterious up on Instagram. I just don't buy it. It doesn't fit. So that's why I just think it's kind of funny as opposed to something we should be talking about seriously.
Yeah, I liked your tweet saying it was how many runs the Pirates scored this afternoon in a 13-inning game. I replied saying it was the draft pick the Steelers do not have after trading for DK Metcalf. I saw somebody else say this means he's endorsing Shedeur Sanders, who wore number 2 at Colorado.
Or is it Mason Rudolph? Does he want Mason to be the starting quarterback?
Oh, yeah, completely. It's funny that everybody went to Shedeur, a number 2 that isn't on the Steelers roster.
Clearly, with the timing, the McAfee show tonight, this is TJ saying, I want number 2 as my starting quarterback, man. I mean, I think it's obvious.
All right. We cracked the code. Aaron Rodgers, speaking of him, since you just brought him up, only has 1 Super Bowl. Maybe this is TJ saying it's time for number 2 if he comes to Pittsburgh. There's a lot of different avenues that I think that you could look at here. Maybe he's just, had to use the bathroom and it wasn't number 1. I don't know.
Maybe he's just tired of hearing bad social media posts about whatever Gaza or something. He wants peace, man. Just of all the things, that one might be. TJ does not strike me as a peace, love, and happiness kind of guy. He's a curmudgeon a little bit.
Although a popular number worn by quarterbacks coming out in this draft, especially Jackson Dart's number 2.
Jackson Dart also 2. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I know people. I think they wanted to go to Shedeur over Jackson Dart because he's the better player. Although the way that those polls were going, as we were talking about yesterday. But who knows? It could have been Jackson Dart. I don't know. Anything else? Is there
the Steelers are going to have 3 guys wearing number 2 throw the ball to 3 guys wearing number 14.
Yep. Yeah, that's why. It was after the DK trade. I was like, now I really want Sam Darnold because he wore number 14, and now he's wearing number 2 in Seattle.
Yeah, there you go. It all comes together.
Goodness, this is just this is all about 14s and 2s here. But no, I'm curious. I mean, no idea what I've sent out some text trying to figure out if anybody has any clue in terms of what this could mean or what. But we'll see what comes of it. But is this on a serious note? Because this is what somebody not somebody that's connected or anything like that. Just a friend texted me is he just running a playbook here, trying to get paid, trying to put pressure on the organization? I don't know. I have no idea.
I did not get the sense when I talked to Omarion about this at the owners' meetings that a conversation with TJ Watt about his contract was even on their near-term to-do list. This is going to happen in training camp like the Steelers usually do. So I can't imagine it meaning anything.
A few weeks before the draft too. I mean, this would just be again, I don't know what he wants the timeline to be, but this isn't.
You know what this is? TJ has been doing okay for himself in the advertising genre.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got the old El Paso thing. He's got the Peloton thing. This is an ad, Smitty. This is guerrilla marketing. I'm calling my shot right here. Is that this is some ad campaign.
It'd be funny if like JJ just posted like the exact same story, or if it was like a different, like he was holding up 3 or something like that, or 1. Yeah.
Maybe he came in second in the family Peloton.
Yeah, there's another one.
Challenge, right? But that was his punishment that he has to post. He's the loser.
Came in second place. Yeah.
I'm calling my shot here, Smitty. That's an official prediction that this is an advertisement.
Okay. All right. I like that. Somebody else said, like, didn't he literally just had his baby? There's no way that a second one could be on the way already.
I mean,
like, hard to believe that they would even like know yet, even if they got to work right away.
His reaction time is legendary. That's all I'm gonna say.
He does have a quick get off. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this podcast could go a lot of different places from this point on, so we'll try to. You're
not rescuing that with a good segue.
Yeah. I don't know what I could possibly segue to directly from there. So I'm not going to try. We're just going to talk about some guys that visited the Steelers today and not try to find any clean transition to do so. One of the names, okay, we just talked about yesterday how there's not a lot of like within those pre-draft visitors that makes sense in terms of a Steelers first round pick. It's kind of hard to find that guy. Well, one of them that we were talking about yesterday, we expected to see Derrick Harmon. That information comes out today. Certainly makes sense. One that we were waiting for to happen, and actually is Mel Kiper Jr.'s current final prediction. I should say not current. It is his final mock draft prediction for the Steelers. Derrick Harmon will be the pick at number 21. So he came in along with Omarion Hampton, and we knew Ollie Gordon, who had previously been reported, was going to as well. So what do we make of these players and them visiting Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, I think just first of all, like Derrick Harmon, and then there was much rejoicing. You know, I think a lot of people were starting to get a little nervous about the number of reported visits creeping up. What are we, about 25 now? And none of those 3 first-round defensive tackles were among them. And especially with Harmon, because he wasn't at the Senior Bowl. And so really they only had talked to him at the Combine so far. Definitely important, I think. Like, they chose not to go to his pro day. They could have. You know, with Kenneth Grant's, I think we all knew they were intending to go to his pro day. And then the Aaron Rodgers visit happened that day. And with Walter Nolan, you know, it had been reported that they were going to be there. And then he didn't end up working out and they didn't go. So it seemed like that was kind of maybe related. And still Andy Weidel was there. But Derrick Harmon was really like, are they even interested? And now I think this is a very clear sign that, yes, they are. I think he's a great fit. I think he's the safest player in terms of, like, will almost certainly be there at number 21 and will almost certainly not be a bad choice for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. So with you saying that, because I think we kind of talked about like Emeka Bukovic being very. The question is, will he get there at 21? Then
will he get there? And also, just I think like the need is less acute at wide receiver.
Sure.
Right? And so,
you know,
baking
that in as well. Yeah.
Like the need is acute at defensive tackle. They need someone that can play this year, in addition to a long-term replacement for Cam Hayward. They really need 2 guys. They might need 3 guys, depending on like how much they really trust Daniel Ekuale. So like there's
interestingly, you say Cam Hayward. I mean, a lot of people that, you know, have talked about Derrick Harmon and his game have said that maybe he's got a little bit of Cam Hayward to him and certainly would fit within the AFC North. So it certainly makes sense that the Steelers would be, high on in terms of the teams that people are linking him to. So certainly makes sense. That's, you know, maybe now the 6th or 7th guy that we can say out of the guys they've had in could make sense in the first round. Do you think that the running back here, Omarion Hampton, who we talked about as well, could also be put in that same bucket? Maybe the other running back along with Ashton Genty that we could see go in the first round, or the Steelers a logical landing spot?
Yeah, I want to keep going on Harmon for a second before we get to Hampton. Yeah, I wrote a really long draft profile of him at SteelersNow.com. If you go to the big board that we're always talking about, that's right there towards the bottom of the front page with Omar's face on a blue background. If you click that, and you can go and you find Derrick Harmon in that big board, and click his name. It's a really interesting story. He's from Detroit. Went to school in the city in Detroit. Committed to college at Michigan State, and it wasn't like a guy that was expected to be a first-round pick. And the coaching staff changed over at Michigan State. He transferred to Oregon, and they play this different defense at Oregon, man. We've talked a lot about on the Morning Rush earlier this week about the 3-4 base and the Steelers 4-2 nickel. Oregon is playing this defense that came with Dan Lanning from Georgia, that Kirby Smart had worked with, that Nick Saban has worked with, where it's like a hybrid defense. It's like kind of like halfway between a 3-4 and a 4-3, I would say. It's actually like, I don't even really know whether you should classify it as one or the other. It's an odd front, so it's probably a little bit more like a 4-3, but it definitely has aspects of both. And so in that defense, he played a lot of 5 technique in addition to 3 technique. So he played out over the tackle a good bit in addition to – so, like, he is the guy that has done the entire job of what Pittsburgh Steelers are going to ask their 3-tech, 5-tech defensive linemen to do. Like, he's done it all. Most of the guys they draft are going to be 4-3, 3-techs that have not played a lot of 5-tech, or the occasional 3-4, 5-tech that hasn't played a lot of 3-tech. But he's one of the very few guys that has been like, yes, I've done the whole job, and he's really good at it. And I think that's very enticing. We've seen the Steelers over the years. Remember when Jim Leonard was the defensive coordinator, or was he defensive coordinator just on the staff? I don't remember. At Wisconsin, and they had TJ, and they got Benton, and they got Loudermilk, and they just went over and over again to that defense because it was such a natural transition for those guys into the Steelers defense. I'm not sure there are a lot of teams in college football right now playing a 3-4 that looks like the Steelers, but I think what those defenses are doing on the defensive line, maybe not everywhere, but on the defensive line, is given a pretty good look for like a Steelers 3-tech, 5-tech. And I think that's one of the reasons why Harmon is such a good fit.
And, I feel like this transition, I'm not saying that it's like in a massive abundance of talent necessarily coming out of Oregon defensively, but like you never used to think about that side of the football when it came to Oregon.
Yeah.
Like very
and if
rarely
you did, it was like a corner.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think a notable change there.
Yeah.
Jamar Caldwell is in this draft class too. He's really good as well. Now he's more of a nose, like a 1-tech, 3-tech. But he's that's a good defense from Oregon there last year. Think about 10 guys that could get drafted.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really good team just in general. Obviously had bowed out to the national champions, Ohio State Buckeyes, in the college football playoff, but had to just throw that in there. But yes, Omarion Hampton as well, widely considered a running back that could go in the first round, right after Ashton Genty. We'll see what the gap is between those two players on draft. Because I've seen some people say it could be another case of like, Bijan, but then him being the Gibbs to that where he goes much higher than people think that he might. What is your take on Omarion Hampton and the fit potentially with the Steelers?
I think Hampton should be a lot closer to Travion Henderson than Ashton Genty in terms of like Genty to me is a top 5 pick. Henderson to me is like a second rounder. And I think Hampton is to me like more of a second round guy. I don't want to say I'm out on him at 21, but I think of the like plausible picks for the Steelers, I think that would going to be one of my least favorite options. I don't think running back is a good idea in general for them. If Genty falls, fine, whatever. But like that's a rare talent. This class is too deep at running back. Their need at running back is not that desperate. They have Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. I think Jalen Warren's really good. I think he's going to be the at least 1A back almost no matter what. And so I don't think they need to be playing with running back in the first round. And I don't get the sense that Omar Khan is ready to go down that road after what happened with the Steelers the last time around. Their decision not to pick up Najee Harris's option. It just doesn't feel like that's something they're going to want to do here.
I think they need a guy, but they don't necessarily need a dude at the position. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
I think they need a contributor for sure, like absolutely within that room. And there's so many good players in here that they very well could be a dude, but they don't need like that guy at the top of the class, in my opinion, to add to this room.
I agree. And the class is so deep too that I think that like sometimes you want to get ahead of a deep class because you maybe want to go twice, or you maybe want to, find a guy who is pushed down the board, right? Like last year with the tackles, deep tackle class, but you take in the first round because you're getting rare players at 15 to 20 overall that are normally going 5 to 10. Yeah. I don't think Hampton is that good that you would need to think that. Like, yes, it's a deep running back class, but it's not like crazy top heavy. Like Genty's really, to me, the only surefire first rounder. I think Hampton can go in the first round. I don't think it's a lock. I would pass if I'm the Steelers unless it's a really weird board. I do think if they're thinking about trading back, he starts to look a lot more attractive in the later 20s. Or if they trade all the way out of the first round to Cleveland wants to come up to get Shedeur Sanders or something, go down to 33. I think I'd love him there.
I'm late on pretty much everything in this process because of the house and everything like that. So I'm like really just trying to finalize stuff. But he is my RB2, but he's my 29th overall player. So I can definitely get on board with what you're saying in terms of the later 20s there. I think he's a borderline first rounder, but could definitely get pushed up further than that, obviously, just because of like
I think trading back makes using that pick on a running back not so bad because now you have you're getting another high draft pick.
Sure. But yeah, be interesting to see how it plays out. And then the other play here we've talked about quite a bit is Ollie Gordon, who in a really good running back class. I don't know that I'm going to say like he's a bad play. He's not what I would be looking for to add to this running back room. And like, I hate doing the comp thing, but like everybody's trying to find somebody here that would be like Najee Harris within this draft class. I mean, to me, if there's one guy that you're going to say that about and I can kind of get on board with it, it's Ollie Gordon.
Didn't I say something like a couple weeks ago, something like just go get 80% Najee Harris, and someone was like 80% Najee Harris doesn't exist. Ollie Gordon is 80% Najee Harris. That is exactly what he is. He is just he is Dollar Tree brand Najee Harris, and I don't think he's an undraftable or unplayable player, but I think he would be a disastrous choice for the Steelers because I think it's a really bad fit. Even if you want a bigger guy, if you decide that like Gainwell and Warren are both smaller, if you want someone who can really get you 1 inch on 3rd and an inch, go get Damian Martinez. Just find somebody who's a better fit for the scheme than Gordon. I think I tell you what, like he's one of the very few like triple interest guys. They had him at the Senior Bowl combine and now a pre-draft visit. So. Yeah, they're obviously interested. I think that one would be a poor choice.
Damian Martinez, who came in as RB5. I don't want to spoil the entire article. You'd have to go read Derek's running back rankings, but RB5 for our boy DB. So certainly higher than the consensus on him. Go read the write-up and the rest of the article to find out why. But so we'll see what comes of those three visits.
Not much for Martinez so far, just the Senior Bowl. In terms of his interest, Cam Scatterbo would be another guy if you wanted a bigger running back.
Yeah. Also mentioned within there, not quite as high, but he's in the article too, so go check that out. Also, I can start doing this on every episode, but you've mentioned it now a couple times in a row. I'm going to throw the link directly to that big board that Alan is referencing in the YouTube comment or description here, so you can click right on that to go to that. I don't want to spend the rest of the episode here unless you got something else that ends up getting brought up here. Talking about.
Oh, I got something. Do you want some? Do you want some news? I've got
some non-Aaron Rodgers.
A tasty nugget of news.
Okay.
So, Aaron Rodgers, we're wondering whether he's coming for the McAfee show. Pat says he's not tonight, but I don't believe anybody. That's exactly what someone who doesn't want his surprise ruined would say, right?
Especially from the wrestling, and there's some WWE in here.
Yeah. It's not like Pat's some highbrow journalist here. He's in the entertainment business. So sent Ed Thompson. actually, Ed volunteered. I didn't send over to the county airport to be like, hey, we got a jet coming in. We'll see who's on it. Just double check. See if that's A-Rod. Not Aaron Rodgers, but Wiz Khalifa flying in from LA today. So now I can't confirm that he's going to be in the night out, but
I would guess so. He's talked about having
right?
musical guests there. He did, during the Super Bowl just a few years ago. He did a full concert on Pat McAfee's stage. So I'm guessing
started off with a little black and yellow. That sounds electric.
Yeah, and then Aaron comes out while it's playing.
we got no Aaron, but we do got Wiz Khalifa. So.
Yeah. In relation to that, I guess that's a good segue in general to discuss that. Pat McAfee has his big night out. A lot of people were anticipating that Aaron Rodgers would be a part of that. Pat McAfee, to his best ability, is trying to pour cold water on the idea of that. Pat McAfee also on Big Ben's podcast that just got put out today discussing that and a lot more. Within that, Ben said he thinks Aaron potentially still waiting around on a mystery team. Is that a team that's already currently out there, or more so a team that right now has a quarterback in place, but maybe they're dealing with an injury or something like that? Because I'm looking around the league right now and I'm like, where's this team there's not a clear picture as we sit here right now for who that team would be if it's not Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so Ben's idea is basically that there's some other team out there that has a quarterback opening that they are not trying to let be public, that they have an injury to their quarterback, and that they are that Rodgers is considering them, but nobody knows who it is. I find this very interesting because, one, it is entirely plausible that there is a team out there with a quarterback that they know is hurt, that they're trying to keep it quiet. In fact, on that podcast, Pat McAfee talked about finding out that Peyton Manning was not going to play for the entire season when he was with the Indianapolis Colts the day he reported to training camp. That's when McAfee found out. Also, Ben Roethlisberger's elbow in 2019 was bothering him in training camp too. I wonder how early in that season he knew something was up, and if this was something that the Steelers had considered. That's interesting too. But the idea that there's a team out there with a banged up quarterback, that, to me, that is plausible. I don't want to dismiss that at all. And then there's just the general idea that Rodgers could just be, well, somebody will get hurt. I'll wait and see if it's with a contender. I'm a little more skeptical about that one, just because I think he's the kind of guy that would want to play. But
we talked about it before, obviously he's been around, he's seen everything possible. So from that perspective, you could think that he could just jump on a moving train, but with how detail oriented he specifically is and what he needs from his pass catchers, it's hard to envision it going well and it being a smooth transition if he just joins up with a team close to or potentially even in season.
And it's also a very okay, he's not going to replace Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. He's not going to replace Jaden Daniels in Washington or C.J. Stroud in Houston. He's got to go to an offense that already has a pocket passer. Now, if the Rams are having a good year and Stafford gets hurt, but they have Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo has been on your team all year, wouldn't you just want to play Jimmy as opposed to pulling Aaron Rodgers off the street? It's not like Jimmy's that bad. So it's got to be a team with a pocket passer that's a contender that has nobody as a backup. What are the odds of one of those guys getting hurt? I don't really buy that.
You brought up a situation that I certainly, even with Jimmy G in tow, I don't know what the money difference would be there. How much are they eating there? And then also having to pay Aaron to come in for however much of the season. But as a Rams fan, I would certainly hope that would be a move that they would make, because I think it's an upgrade, significant. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who it is. I don't see that being, I don't want to say within the realm possibility. I don't see that being the case. I don't think that's
I have a hard time seeing that being the preference. And so I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the Steelers. I also think, I'm very interested to see what the reaction from the crowd is going to be if there's no okay, so you're a wrestling fan. Like, do you remember the Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh where there was like all this anticipation?
I was there.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's Batista at the end and the crowd just absolutely turns on the whole thing.
Daniel Bryan wasn't even in the match.
Yes. Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, who's like a lifetime face who always gets good reactions, got booed out of the building because he was number 30.
I can see that happening if there's no Aaron Rodgers at this event tonight. Like, I don't know how many people are there. I don't know if this is sold at or what, but 15 to 18,000 people waiting for Aaron Rodgers and not getting him could be very interesting. Also,
all while drinking ice
and not just there, like on social media. If this doesn't happen tonight, people are going to lose their minds because a lot of people are really ready for this to be over. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people have latched onto is like, maybe this is it. And if it's not this, things are going to get spicy. For sure.
Yeah, this is certainly, I feel like, the date that people were circling. We're like, okay, this is the point. Like, we've waited around. We were willing to do so because this is coming up on the calendar. Beyond this, like, what's the next thing? The NFL draft? Like, I don't know.
And I think, like, why would the Steelers want to wait until after the draft? Like, they wouldn't. The Steelers need this done before the draft. They do. If it doesn't happen before the draft, they're gonna prioritize quarterback more than they otherwise would, and if they do that, they're not gonna go back to Rodgers. So, like, I mean, it has to happen before the draft. What's happening between now? Like, what would be the thing? Although I can also just as easily see Rodgers just like knowing that this is the thing that everyone has circled, just no showing tonight, and then like coming in to sign his contract tomorrow, just to be
that'd be great.
Just to be the enigma, right? Just to swerve and not do the thing that everyone is expecting him to do.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be the day prior, like yesterday, but maybe it is the day following. We'll see. We'll see if anything comes of that. But you mentioned something interesting there in terms of like potential, like turning the heat up. Is there pressure on the organization, obviously, to get this done? 15 hours ago, we got this comment from Philip Molinauer on YouTube saying, what if the Sanders pre-draft visit is a 5D chess move by Khan for leverage on Aaron to hurry up? And he put like the thinking emoji and then a laughing face. Well, Philip, you might have been laughing about this in the moment, but Rap Sheet was talking about this on the NFL Network this morning. And he kind of mentioned the same thing. Like, maybe this is a play from the Steelers bringing in Shedeur. Like, yeah, we do need an answer, or this is potentially the route that we would go with the draft. And then where does Aaron get left? He gets left in the cold potentially if he was still hoping to be a starting quarterback this year, because there's no guarantee that that other spot from that mystery team, whoever it could be, does open up. So if he really wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, we need an answer.
Well, we've known that Rap, reads my tweets since he retweeted one of my visitor
I did see that,
this week. Now we can also confirm that Rap is a Steelers afternoon. He's in the Steelers afternoon drop comment section.
I'm assuming it came from the tweet
on the inside.
Saw your tweet, and he's like, "Wait, what's this guy? Let me see what this guy's doing." Saw the podcast, and now like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Yeah, thanks, Rap. Appreciate it. Good call. Was that Phil, you said?
Yes.
Good call, Phil. I would have said no to this answer. And I still think the answer is really no. But, like, I'm a little bit hesitant to just rule it out given Rappaport kind of getting behind the idea. Like, I don't really think this – let me just say it this way. If that's what the Steelers are trying here, I would not expect it to work. I don't think it will have any impact. But maybe it is in some way an attempt.
Well, from the Steelers side, like, of course that they want this to be done before the draft. But from Aaron's side, like, does he have a reason to do so? So it's like them trying to do anything that they can to get an answer one way or another. Whether or not it works, I can understand why they'd be trying to play whatever cards they currently have in their hand, which this is one of them.
Yeah, I don't know what Rodgers would be waiting for at this point that, like, has yet to happen, unless he just doesn't want to go to OTAs. But I can't see the Steelers being on board with that.
Yeah. And again, going back to, like,
he can sign and not go to OTAs. They are voluntary. So maybe he doesn't go to minicamp. I don't know. He didn't go to minicamp last year. It was a big deal. So.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I think that got a lot of the conversation going in terms of like, what's the relationship like there when that all started to happen. And then obviously Bob Saleh out of a job not too long into the season, and that conversation resurfaced. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's waiting for. I'm sure the organization would have liked to have had this done quite a while ago. But here we are, big night out, still nothing done.
Here we are.
Where we sit here right now. Knowing the way that things typically go, we are wrapping up this podcast. It's 5:42 p.m. Maybe it happens immediately after, like not even during the big night out. Literally, as soon as I pressed end recording, maybe something.
It is my wife's birthday today.
Happy birthday!
And we are going out to dinner. So happy birthday, Ryan. We are going out to dinner. So there is a near certainty that something is happening tonight that is going to require my attention. That will be annoying. So we're going out to dinner, and then certain that something will happen. So you all just
there we go.
Glued. Stay glued to SteelersNow.com. Chris Ward and Aaron Becker are they're on call. So hopefully it's nothing that requires my direct attention. But
yeah, if it's Aaron or TJ, it's going to be tough to not have you in the kitchen there. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. And I'm just going to, mention the TJ thing one more time here at the end, just to really get people going. I want everybody in the comments to leave not like wrong answers only type of answers here in terms of what the two. I don't want a serious thought from people on this. If it happens, it's not going to happen. If it does happen, I get old takes exposed, and then we have to have a serious conversation about it. That will happen on the podcast. But for the time being, just want funny answers only. Alan, until tomorrow, tell people they can find you.
At @Saunders_PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now sites account, SteelersNow.com. Go there and read the words so I can get paid. Sign up for SN Plus, and you can just pay me directly. Help us do cool things like go to Pro Days and the Senior Bowl and all that stuff, so I can write big, long draft profiles of Derrick Harmon. It's cheap. It's like $4 a month, so it really helps us out.
Yeah, and I just realized Tony Life has been getting a shout out on the banner for like 3 days now for subscribing.
Well, we need somebody else, and I'm unfortunately not in front of my computer today, so I can't update the list to you. But we need somebody else to knock them off that spot there. And of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. That's free. Also helps us out a ton. Every day, I look at the percentage of viewers that are subscribers, and I shake my head, and I'm like, if just all of these people would subscribe, it's like the Emerald City meme, like the world where everybody who watches our podcast every day is a subscriber. There you go.
There we go. And leave us a 5-star review and subscribe if you were listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Leave us a 5-star review, subscribe over there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. You will find us. Do the same thing on TikTok. You'll find me everywhere, Zachary Smith, PGH. For Alan Saunders, his wife Ryan, and myself, thanks for jumping in and taking another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.